Okay, so we have a quorum. I think we'll table approving the minutes until next meeting. If that's okay with everyone,
Yes.
because we can't vote on them. Financial report. Take it away, Justin.
Not a lot new to report. We're still heading up towards the end of the fiscal year with quite a bit of reserve left in operations. So we've got $10,496.28 left. And, you know, other than straggling book orders, one last electric bill, one last telephone bill, and a couple other random things, you know, it's most of that we're going to be able to spend on ebooks. But I'm going to wait until June 30th and try to, you know, make the most educated guess I can as to what those last bills are going to come in at so that we don't go over. If we do go a little bit over, we have other sources of funding, so I don't think it's the end of the world.
I'm sure you got the memo today. I got an email about end of the year and making sure their last resources are spent and not just encumbered.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's standard operating procedure for the end of the year. We have our
Right.
year with Gene reconciling, you know, almost, you know,
Right.
just to make sure that we don't run off a cliff on July 30th.
Exactly.
You know.
I think you got something wrong with the personnel stuff. You put that the salaries were the same as what was budgeted, the remaining in the salary. It isn't. So that makes the remaining in personnel all wrong.
Got to update my spreadsheets.
Yeah.
This is supposed to automatically subtract from that whatever I enter in.
Huh.
And then it's
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't quite work. That looks like me trying to balance my checkbook. All right.
And the other things, we got our second distribution of grant money from the MBLC. So that was, you know, 8,000 and change. So now, you know, the total grants we received from the state for the year, 16,564.
Very good.
We had a little bit come into the building donations with interest account from the Friends this past month, but other than that, there's just been very little change. It's been a quiet month.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing no questions, we'll move on to the director's report.
This can also be short and sweet because we already discussed May's circulation numbers at the last meeting because the last meeting didn't happen until, you know, it was in. June has been kind of quiet. It's the quiet before the storm. That'll be the summer reading program starting on July 5th. Everyone's been taking their vacation time so they don't lose it at the end of the fiscal year. So I don't think we've had a single fully staffed day in the month of June. I hope that by the end, that by the time we have our next meeting, I'll be done with our ERIS statistics. So I'll have the, you know, report basically for the entire year done and ready to submit to the MBLC. In other news, Deb Hudgens, we're continuing to do that up at the town common because, I mean, earlier today, see, Rebecca texted me, we had 24 people at music.
Awesome. Oh my God, that's amazing. I've driven by there 2 times.
Every single time.
While she's been performing or doing her thing. She's not performing, but yeah, and I've seen a good crowd. I just want to skip back to the summer reading. Are you going to do story walks again?
Yeah, I'll be putting those up at the farm next week.
Because I'm happy to do them if you want. Unless you have somebody already doing them.
It's a good excuse to get out to the farm and say hi to the Socrats.
No, but I mean laminating everything.
Oh, well, I have ones that didn't go into circulation last year.
Okay.
And ones that were at the SNET that were never put up at the farm. So I think that we still have enough from last year that we can do this year without having to build anything new.
All right.
Can we do it at the SNET too as well?
That I would prefer not to. That was a pain in the patootie and also the signs got vandalized a lot. and it was
Yes,
work
I
for
found
2
that because I took my grandsons and my mother down that trail. I mean, the mother-in-law for that story walk. And 2 times, and it was destroyed. I don't know if it's people going over them with bikes or what, but they were all mangled.
And the other thing is, it's nigh near impossible to get those things into the ground. That used to be, I mean, a railroad line. So start trying to hammer yard signs into the.
Well, you can't put anything in the ground anywhere and not hit a rock in Douglas. So
I can't
you
at the
need-
farm.
Yeah.
Then Nick just has to mow around them. But last year, I
That's no problem.
used a lot. People preferred the one at the farm because it was open and it was sunny and it was in the orchard. Whereas if you went to the field, I went to go check on it once a week, and I was rubbing the calamine lotion on after every time because the mosquitoes were so bad.
yeah,
This
yeah.
summer's hotter and not as wet though, so that might not be as big of an issue. But I'd
Yeah.
prefer to just do the.
All right, so you're just gonna do them just at the orchard?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, let me know if you need.
In the second paragraph, what does YFCP stand for?
The youth, I think it's Youth Family Community Partnership. It's what the YMCA Community Outreach.
It's CFCE, Coordinated Family and something. That was my job. CFCE is what the grant is. Coordinated Family and Community Engagement. That's what it is.
Okay, say that all again.
Coordinated Family and
Okay,
Community.
slow. Coordinate fam. Yeah,
Coordinated Family and Community Engagement. So it's CFCE.
Is it the same thing? Because this is their, it's the YMCA Family and Community Partnership.
Okay, all right, that's, yes,
YFCE.
but it's okay, it's the CFCE grant that pays for it. Okay, so they call it that. Okay,
Okay, that's down there.
all right, okay.
what do they call it?
The YFCP, which stands for,
Oh, no, YF. Youth community, family community, and engagement.
Partnership.
all right, I think maybe there's confusion. The name of the grant that funds it is the CFCE, but the YMCA apparently they call their program the Y, so it's the Y Family Community Partnership. So it's YFCP. Okay,
I just sent you the information in an email too.
yeah, that's
Okay.
what, yeah.
All right, thanks.
But yeah, they've been paying for Deb Hudgens's programs, but they do like a seasonal round and it stops in June. So starting in July, I would start using Carrick money to pay for it, and then just change the branding until the YFCP starts funding it again. That's what we were doing before the pandemic.
Yep. That's great.
And this will be our first real summer reading program since before the pandemic. So this is,
I know. Wow. Amazing. Okay. Okay.
and that's it for my director's report.
All right. So old business. Talking about treasurer's responsibilities, carryover from last meeting. Barbara's not here. Do we want to discuss it without her, or?
We should probably wait.
I have reached out and poked some other directors about how boards have updated and amended their bylaws, and it just depends radically on each individual community.
Mhm.
Our bylaws actually have the mechanism for amending the bylaws built in, like there's an amendment clause at the end of it. So before the next meeting, I can try to send everybody out that right now. I've got a digital copy, but it's nestled inside of a PDF with a bunch of other documents, so I need to strip it out. And you know, I think it might be easy to just propose a amendment to the treasurer position that would make Barbara happy, and not feel so nervous about, you know, taking on this role that has a lot of, you know, vestigial responsibilities that the treasurer
Exactly.
back in
Right.
1943
Yeah.
have now.
Yeah.
I would prefer not to change the bylaws at all, but that the trustees instruct the treasurer's position of what it expects of it.
Well,
And so it wouldn't be changing the bylaws.
the bylaws.
I just don't, I get very nervous about changing something that old, that we might screw up something for the future.
Mm.
And as I mentioned last month, the whole bit about providing or being able to take our funds and put them in Bartholomew was with Matt reviewing our bylaws and realizing, yes, indeed, you are in control of everything. And therefore you can do it. And that's, you know, I think that's important. And so I think that we can, as trustees, instruct how we want the director to do, you know, the bills for the month, and the treasurer to sign the payroll and voucher stuff. So it's just a question of what Dawn and Barbara do in their secret ability. And that's all we have to do, you know, that we can say, yeah, we will instruct that we want the director to do this now. Because if we get into a situation where we get a real flub of a director in the future,
Oh, come on.
you know,
That won't be too long after I'm gone.
right, exactly. But at least the bylaws will say that the trustees could do something like this, could run the library.
Okay, so Ellie, do you know if the bylaws are written that way, that the trustees can do that?
No, I would just have the trustees, the bylaws are written. Bingo, that's it. They're there.
Right.
We can instruct the director and the treasurer of what to do.
Okay, as long as that's already written.
Just as an instructional, you know, procedure.
Right.
Whatever. And I don't even like procedures, so.
Right.
But
But that might work because in the future, maybe situations are different.
yes, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, yeah, I think,
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I'm wondering, I'm pretty sure this should be brought up. This should stay on the agenda for next month,
Okay.
because I think there's a lot more discussion, and we really should have Barbara be able to,
Well, if Barbara and Dawn could get together somehow and have a list of what,
maybe hammer out
They
how
feel
how you guys
comfortable
want to do
doing
it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and that Justin would be in charge of, or the, you know, of this, the other stuff that the trustees were supposed to be doing. So.
There, that's it. I love
It would
delegating.
probably go a long way to alleviate Barbara's discomfort if the bylaws didn't say that the treasurer has to be bonded.
Oh. Okay. Yeah,
Well, she doesn't have to be bonded.
But the bylaws say she does.
But the treasurer was bonded. I think I was treasurer at one point. I was bonded, and Ramona was bonded, and then Ramona somehow got it unbonded. But that's when we were I don't know when, but
I don't even understand what it means.
Well,
to be-
I'm stepping
we had
down.
to
as-
pay like $300 a year to be bonded.
Well, I'm stepping down after 6 years as the treasurer for the Cultural Council, and I can tell you for sure that I was never bonded.
Yeah. Well, it was, I don't know, it was left over from, 1903. And so we did
Hmm.
through, when did I become a trustee? I think in the 1980s sometime. And so it would have been probably in the 90s that Ramona became it. And then sometime after that, that's when we stopped doing the bonding.
Okay. Interesting. Well, let's table it, if
Table.
that's okay.
Yeah, you know what? We were also, this helped me actually. I was paid that the $300 was not for the bonding. The $300 was paid to the treasurer. And at the time that I was treasurer, I was not working because I had just had kids and I had to stay home for 5 years and take care of them and be a good mom. And but then when I retired, those 5 years that I didn't have a salary from a job, and because it was from the town to be bonded, or $300 to be serve as the treasurer, I was able to add that to my retirement years. So I didn't get paid tons, but I got paid a
Oh,
lot
wow.
more from the time that I was the treasurer, and
Wow.
so it helped me,
Well, had I known that, I
Barbara-
could have gotten some more on my pension.
Yeah, right, exactly. But you had to pull in some money, and I pulled in my $300 a year.
Oh, okay. So you pay to be bonded.
No, I didn't pay
No.
for the bonding. I think that the trustees paid for the bonding. It may have been $500 for bonding. I don't know, but it was
Okay,
$300.
but
Used to
someone
be
paid.
150.
What, it was 150 for bonding? Betty, do you remember?
The last I heard it was 150, but that might have been a while ago.
Okay. Or maybe that's what was that what the treasurer was earning? Was 150?
I know there was something about some bonded people gave it, yeah, maybe, and they gave it back to the town, though. They donated it back to the town if they were paid 150 to be treasurer.
Yeah, but
I guess
that was
there's two
nothing
issues
for
there.
bonding, because I remember the Carrick insurance people were the ones that bonded us when they were still in existence.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah, sure. I'll put it on the agenda for next month then.
Yeah, that's interesting to know. Huh. Okay. Building projects. Main floor ceilings.
They are done. The building inspector wanted the contractors to come back and do a better job of caulking around the fire alarm fixtures and the chains that the lights are hanging from. There was just gaps between the plaster and that stuff, which
Hmm.
apparently is a fire hazard, because if you have a fire on the first floor and there's space for it to go into the attic, it can like suck it
Yeah.
up. Basically it's bad juju. So they did come back and do that. So we're all set to process the invoice tomorrow.
Good. Very good.
So it'll be ready
And what was the total amount for what is the total amount for that invoice? I know we were voted 75,000 at town meeting, but
So it
what
was
did we pay?
less than that. Heck, the total was 37,950.
Wow.
Very good.
And that includes the electrician. Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
that's really good.
So a lot of money will go back to the general fund then.
Indeedy.
Okay, good. And the important thing there is, I guess they'll come, that Jean will ask you if you're done with that project, and then you say, yeah, or something. But you can hold off telling her so that at some point, the capital committee can sort of lay their hands on the remains of that. That must be half the amount. Was it $75,000 we got? Is that?
Yeah,
I believe
right.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that has to be resolved by Thursday.
well,
No,
yeah,
that won't
yeah,
be
you
able to
have
be
to
resolved
pay it by Thursday.
until, yeah, I've got to process the invoice by Thursday, but no one will be able to do anything about the remainder of these funds, I think, until fall town meeting.
Yes, right. Well, no, they won't vote at that. Jean will, it's already been voted. So Jean can figure out what to do with the rest of the money. And a lot of times she'll give it back to capital for another project.
Well, it could go towards our project. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but yeah, you
Yeah,
can
but
chat with them about that if you want.
no, I'm worn down. I told you that. I'm all worn down.
Well, that's good. You didn't pay any deposit on it to start with?
Nope, there was no deposits paid. The only other thing that was paid was the cleaners who came in and did the deep clean after
Oh,
the project.
All right.
okay.
Well, you should be able to put that under the same amount.
Yeah, it'll come out of that fund and not out of any of our funds.
Yeah.
Right. All right. That sounds good. Let's check that off. Now let's move on to our handicap access.
So I have not talked to Gary Moyer yet since our last meeting, because where he left me the last time we discussed anything was, he didn't see us being able to accomplish what we want without spending, closer to, well, what Charlie had quoted, like the $2.5 million. He didn't see $400,000 or even anything shy of $1 million capable of handling all of our handicap accessibility issues. And I was hoping to pursue with him more conversations in hope that some of this ARPA money would be able to be applied to a library project. But no one has an appetite to use that ARPA money for this way right now, because the economic outlook right now is just so grim. IAA is telling municipalities to just prepare to get shellacked this winter with energy costs and fuel costs. And, well, I mean, everyone's feeling the economy right now.
Good Lord, yeah.
And, especially in construction, there's a very high material cost right now. There's a labor shortage, and it just makes it a very bad time to be planning a project. So I think the best thing we can do right now is not to pursue paying planning money out of our own pocket to try to prepare anything for, even preliminary fundraising, but just to continue to build up our reserve fund and wait for, the world to get a little bit better.
Right.
Because, I mean, to be honest, we probably shouldn't be that far away from the next MBLC planning round when we could use their money to pay for planning.
That would be great. Yeah.
Because they keep getting increasing their bond amount with the legislature every year. That's one of the big pushes at the library legislative days, because these grant rounds happen so few and far between. And, the last time, there was a construction planning round with the MBLC has been, more than 10 years ago at this point. And they're still working on that backlog of construction projects before they open another planning grant round.
Right.
And, if we wait until that comes around, the more money we have reserved, the stronger position we'll have to actually use the state money to do something bigger than what we would be able to right now. It's just, the timing is not right at this point.
Yeah.
Even if we had the money to renovate the library, basically what I've been told by contractor friends is, you would want to hold on to it for, at least a year or two, and then use it then whenever you're going to be able to buy a lot more with it, since it is such a,
Okay.
library renovation
Are we, yeah, but
often.
it's so hard to imagine prices coming down.
Hmm.
Once they go up,
Well, fuel should go down, and I don't know, the building stuff, it might depend on what we're talking about for building materials.
well, building materials are pretty much totally dependent on fuel, whether, for production or travel, transporting. It's so hard to, and we live in a finite world. So all this wood that humans are harvesting is becoming scarcer and scarcer, and you're paying more and more for it.
Right.
So
The lesson I think to be learned as a society, I hope, from, the pandemic is, everyone has moved towards just-in-time manufacturing and keeping as little stock on hand as possible. And,
Right.
anytime a supply line is disrupted, or a city in China goes into lockdown, or a ship can't go through
Right.
it now, then,
right, we are
it-
so
global consequences and repercussions. And, we're still feeling that, and are probably still going to be feeling that from what I'm reading for, 5 to 10 years.
I agree, but
Now we've
we
got
are,
a war going on between, Ukraine and the biggest supplier of fuel in the world. So it's,
yeah.
So,
I just hope that we can keep the momentum going
right.
with the fundraising efforts of the Friends, so that people aren't going to not lose interest, but to get discouraged about when is it going to happen? When's something going to happen?
Right.
I also hope that you wouldn't go straight to the MBLC. You'd have a discussion with the trustees before you do anything like that, because I mean, it was just so apparent that we and the MBLC, I don't know if they still do the same type of studies that they did back when we got our grant, but weren't supported by the town. But it was to enlarge the building, quadruple the size of the building. And
Right.
I think that the trustees that were around, it might have been just Betty and me, were
Yeah.
very aware that,
That was before I came on, yeah.
of the slap in the face that the town gave us. And we don't, I think we have to be much more realistic and have a discussion if it comes up. So I wouldn't go
Right.
running to.
well,
I
I mean,
agree.
when they do another planning grant round, it's going to be one of those things that they announce, like 6 months ahead of time. So it's
Yeah,
not
right.
Right.
sprung on us immediately. And it would be it would be a process, but it would be a good process, I think, to go through. I believe that they have scaled back on a lot of those requirements and everything, and they have started new programs for like mini construction grants with like teeny tiny towns that don't even have libraries.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping there will be a lot more leeway, with the mind to community feasibility the next time there's a construction planning round.
Right.
To be
Justin,
frank, the last round they went through, it was just on the cusp of, the digital revolution. They thought that libraries needed a lot of things they didn't need.
And if things have changed so much,
yeah.
with all these digital books too, so it's completely a different story there that that a library, what a library needs. I agree with that, you know, it's.
Yeah. And I think it keeps changing. The library, what the library needs to provide and the needs of the library, I think continues to change with the times. I think Justin has been on top of things as far as, you know, everything he's come up with, doing Wi-Fi hotspots and things like that, that kind of thinking outside the box for libraries. You know? I'm just hoping and that we can keep the momentum going, because we do have a really strong base of support here in town with the people, you know, the people who come to the library, the people, they might not come to the library, but they support everything that the library does and stands for. So we've got to keep plugging away.
Justin, I just want to make sure I understand. So is the ARPA discussion still ongoing? Is that kind of we probably use it for this purpose, but is it separate of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, the ARPA discussions are still going on with the selectmen, but they're not going to use it on, they're not going to throw us a lot of it. I could probably make a small proposal.
Yeah.
To do something like, you know, continue funding the Wi-Fi hotspots once the MBLC drops funding for it, because that's going to happen in September.
Yeah.
But they're not going to give us, you know, $1 million, $2 million for renovating or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Matt had in mind too with his
Right.
comments
Yeah.
about leveraging
It will be. Matt is a very
own resources.
savvy town administrator, and I would think that if we were to reach a point where we had a good amount of capital that we could leverage to our advantage, we had, you know, the MBLC coming through with a new planning grant round that, you know, would be guaranteed planning grant money that we could apply for and use, and then potentially springboard to a construction project, then, you know, I think he would be a very good, it would be very good if he is still our town administrator when that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that we have to keep showing that we're working on it. We're not just sitting back and waiting for someone to drop this money into our laps, that we're working on fundraising and, you know, coming up with different proposals and things like that.
Yeah, and I think just the sign, keeping the sign updated outside where, you know, everybody does see, and he walks downtown quite a bit, you know, so he sees the sign.
That's
and,
good. Yeah.
you know, and realizes that we are working pretty hard for it. We are counting our pennies to hopefully get
Absolutely.
somewhere.
Literally.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It is. Yeah. Okay. We're going to stay strong, right?
Wrong.
All right. We're strong.
Okay.
I'm just whizzing by other building projects. I don't think is that anything for discussion right now?
Nope.
All right, grants, capital campaign.
You know, we went up from 132,959 to 132,995.
Sweet.
You
There
swapped
we
the
go.
numbers, a typo.
Okay. Again, other grants, LRP updates.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Friends, let's hear from the friends.
Well, here's some good news.
Yeah, well, the
Come
Friends
on.
had a meeting, our first meeting for our auction stuff in that we'll have in the fall, and it's going to be a week after Oktoberfest. I think it's October 9th to something or other. Do you remember,
I
Justin?
think the 23rd.
The 23rd. Okay, yeah, and
23rd.
Danielle was there too. So, but we and if Nick is still here, we want a donation from the orchard, please, for something. Because I think your mom is the person that needs to be talked to, and we think that she'll listen to you. So if you could ask her for a donation for the auction, I know it would be much appreciated. Oh,
I will let her know.
okay, good.
There he
And
is.
we
Oh,
need it sooner than
he
later,
speaks.
but you can send, you can hand in something to Justin, you know, a picture or a description, or he can help you write it or whatever. But I know it was very popular the year before, so, but so we are looking for donations, and I think we're, you know, somebody was talking about it, Danielle and Justin, maybe you'll remember this, about the cost of, or I guess it was Paul Peterson talking, because he goes around town to try to get donations from like the pizza places and similar things like that. And he said, boy, you know, the price of getting a pizza is really gone up. And I said something like, well, maybe we should offer cooking lessons and for an auction item. But I remember last year I had suggested, and we didn't do it. I was willing to donate a dinner, but that might be, I don't know how you guys feel about that we could carry that off of providing dinner for, or something like that, for, you know, in telling what it is.
I have a friend who is like a top rank. She's not a chef. She works in a school department as a secretary, but she does amazing. She does that. She provides meals for people. She's done it for fundraisers. She's out in the, oh God, more towards going towards the western part of the state a little bit. Lives in a beautifully old restored house. And I don't know if she usually does something like that for a cause that's really near and dear to her. But that would be awesome. God.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when my kids were in Touchstone, and they were, you know, 39 and 40 years old now, and this was so in elementary school, they the auctions back then they would offer meals. I remember one year I got some sort of Italian meal or something like that, and ended up paying like $100 for it. And this would have been back in the 80s and early 90s,
right?
And that back then was a lot of money.
Thing is, it's worth hundreds of dollars to have someone do that.
Yeah, and so I think it, you know, I wouldn't mind making a dinner, you know, and you could, Kate could make pork chops or something like that. But
Make a
So
dinner,
we'd all participate in it. Is that what you're saying, Ellie?
deliver it? I don't understand.
well, no, I was thinking that
You go to the house,
you
go to their house.
What?
Oh,
Meals for at the auction.
no way.
Donna didn't particularly like it last year, but it was because it was a new thing, and I'm just wondering if you guys don't support it, then I won't pursue it.
No, I think I am. I'm still trying to get my head around it. So it would be in a nice setting, and would we all participate in making the meal, or?
No, not necessarily. I don't like to participate, but I do. What my meal was that I got at Touchstone was somebody brought it all over. So it was to my house, and so I had, I don't know, 6 or 8 people there for dinner, and we ate this prepared meal that I bid at the auction. So
that's a good idea.
You know, I'll make a note to get in touch with my friend
Yeah, that would
and
be.
see
that
how
would-
she does it, because
Yeah.
she's done it a few times now. She does it for like big cancer research fundraisers and things like that.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
people are bidding hundreds of dollars for
yeah.
her to come and do this amazing meal. She is an incredible cook.
But it'd be
And like I
something
say-
you could not, I mean, you might make these rules, or I would probably, you could not compete with any of the takeout food in Douglas. So you could not provide pizza,
God, no.
anything like that, but you could. I mean, the thing I was looking at, I like this meal that we sometimes have. It's called we call it vinegar chicken, and it's chicken thighs and cooked in vinegar. And it's an actually really tasty thing with rice, and it'd be. I'm sure everybody would love it, but that, I know nobody in Douglas sells that, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
I can get in touch with my friend
Okay.
and just ask her how it works. How she's done it, and like what the value. I know the value for hers is like pretty high.
Yeah, yeah.
She comes to the house and prepares a meal. in
Well,
the
you could
house.
do it that way too. I just, then you'd have to depend on whatever equipment
Exactly, and that's the thing that
kitchen had.
I don't know how she does it. I
And that's
say,
why I think if we were able to prepare it at home and then just bring it in takeout food containers for the, it might not be worth more than $50 or whatever, but, people might
fun.
get excited about it, I think.
I think it's a good idea, something to think about. Look into it. Hey, farm to table, some kind of farm to table,
Mhm.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Well, in the fall, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But this time of year, or a little later in the season, it's perfect to do a farm to table meal. Something to think about.
Yeah. All right. And I can't remember anything else we did about the Friends. So
Just
We're
getting
gonna
the
have a
blurb
party
out
on
about
October 23rd.
looking
Yeah.
for
Everyone
donations.
block off that day.
what did you say, Justin?
The party, the library gala on October
Oh,
23rd.
yeah, that's
Yes.
exciting too. Yeah.
Trustees, attendance is mandatory.
What's the date?
October 23rd. It's the
It would
last
be
day
the
of
last-
the auction. We're going to
Oh,
have
okay.
computers set up in the library for people to bid online. I'm going to try to persuade the Friends to get some live music in here, and we'll have, Hors des Overs and other fancy things.
Horses ovaries?
Hors
No,
des
horses duvers.
Hors des Overs.
Yeah,
And
but see, I don't know if I would do the live music stuff. Because we only want it for 2 hours. And because
Ellie
people
doesn't
don't
let
want
people
us,
stick around.
yeah, I don't think people want to stick around, but yeah, and I don't want to stick
Well,
around.
they're not going to be able to leave after they drink the spiked punch.
Yeah. I'll bring a
Is that
bottle of my
Arkansas
wine.
punch?
But I think that would be a good thing to keep momentum going too.
Yes,
Oh,
I do too. I think it'd be
absolutely.
good, but I don't think we need a big hoopla. I don't want to compete with the Orchard and their concerts. I don't think we can.
They're
Well,
not
they do
doing
those on
concerts
Saturday
then.
night. Those will be the after party.
In October, they
Exactly.
won't be doing
Yeah.
them then, right?
Right. Nobody's going to be doing it.
No, I don't believe so.
But still, it's that you do such a good job. And I know that we can either have 3 people there or 8 trustees there, and and nobody else. And then we have to be pleasant with each other and pretend we're enjoying
Oh, come
ourselves. And in 2 hours, we get to go home.
Get to go home.
Sounds like a
That sounds
plan.
so fun.
Sounds like something I don't want to pass up.
Well, other people.
I'm gonna
we
clear
need
my
people like
calendar.
Dawn to do social media with this and not
Something
me,
that
because
nobody-
I'm gonna just slap everybody around.
Ellie, you were never a saleswoman, were you?
No,
Okay.
never.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. But that October 25th is very important.
I think it's wonderful. I think I strongly encourage library board trustees to be involved in this auction process by donating, by bidding, by being there, by promoting it, however else we can do for it. Because every time we come up to ask for money, the BOS says to us, well, where are you? How come you're not supporting us? How come you're not doing this and that? So we really need to be, as a group, we need to be united, and we need to really show our dedication to this goal.
I think
get
we
off
are.
this.
I think we are doing a good job.
I think you are. I think we are. I think everyone is. I just want to keep that going and extend it. You know, your friends, your neighbors.
Yeah. Now, last year there were, Justin, maybe you'll remember this, there was 90 odd people that donated. The year before we had over 100 people that donated. So we went down last year. So we want to go up, up, up. So
Right.
that's where we went down, Nick, because the orchard didn't donate.
Oh,
Makes you
yeah,
feel
is that why?
Donate
Everyone
$2,500
doesn't even use
last
the farm tours that we auction off. They want to be
What?
educated. They
You
don't
what?
even use the farm tours. We usually auction off the farm tour, and no one ever does the farm tour.
Really?
Everyone thinks
Oh,
they
did
know how to grow
anybody
their own
bid on
food.
it? No, but your mom put together a really nice gift package, I think, of something from your store.
Right.
It was really,
Yep.
and that was very
Those are
fun.
material things. I'm trying to auction off education. That's more important.
Yeah.
So we educate at the same time. No, I'm just
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
we're in the
But not
same
really.
boat, Nick.
So come up, Nick, come up with something.
Well, how about you had mentioned, I don't think I'll bid on it, but you had mentioned our dead pear trees, and one tree was alive behind our barns. And you said, you can graft something like that. And you know how to do that. You did it up at the municipal center, I think. And so
Yeah.
if you could, that would be an education.
That would be you know what? How about a service? Offer that service. Offer some type of service, a pruning service. I know so many people who have apple trees in their yard that they say, oh, I planted this apple tree, now it's gotten out of hand and I don't know what to do with it, or anything. Nick, to offer your expertise to offer a pruning service. In the auction is in October. You're doing pruning in what, February, March? I think that would be a big thing for people. And at the same
Yeah,
time,
I've been,
at the same
yeah,
time, you
I'll do
can
a farm tour
educate,
kind of thing, but, oh yeah.
you know?
Yep.
Something to
good.
think about. Nick,
Mhm.
you're so knowledgeable about so many things. I know you can come up with something.
I will try. I'll let you guys know.
It won't
But
cost any money.
let your
except
mom
for
know
your
that we'd
time.
love something curios too from your shop. Her shop.
Hmm.
So when
I'll
are
pass
you
the
looking
message
for
along.
donations? To the
By
end?
September 5th is
Okay.
the deadline, but sooner than later is better.
Okay.
Well, I can donate some of my art things. I don't know. Donating
Oh,
meat
yeah.
just weirds me out. I don't know why.
What's weird you out?
Like donating like pork chops, or I don't know. That just weirds me out. I don't like.
Oh, mine went, they go
Filling
for over, mine leg of lamb went for $65 last year.
That's good. You can do that.
Yeah,
Maybe my heart will.
I used to at Touchstone give one lamb, dead or alive. And they didn't want
I
it
gotta have
dead.
alive.
I mean,
Kelly.
yeah, then it would be butchered, otherwise. But
Oh, save a lamb's life.
right, exactly. But everybody took it dead.
There you go.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God. All right, moving right along. Other old business?
I have none.
Hearing none. New business. I see a book donation bin.
Okay, so this is the same group that has the book donation bin up at the high school or the middle
Mhm.
school that we always truck our donations to after the Friends of the Library sales, has contacted me, and they said they wanted to put one here. And I said that, like, our donations go through the Friends and for their sales, and it's really only after they've been through Friends of the Library book sales that we want to pass them along and keep them moving somewhere else.
Mhm.
But they said what we could do is we could get a bin here at the library that has a basically a lock on it, so that it's not for public use, but it's for us to use. Because a lot of times when people call the library asking, if they can donate stuff, they have a lot of stuff that if it's a bunch of stuff, I know obviously that the Friends aren't going to want, that we're not going to want, and that, is not going to be taken back by Baker and Taylor for their, rescans, then it's basically going to either end up in one of their donation bins, or it's going to end up at the transfer station.
Right.
So this would basically, they would park it behind the library somewhere, and we would be able to just put books in it that, as they're donated, that we don't want to keep, or put books in it after the Friends of the Library book sales, and whenever it's full, we give them a call. And having that on hand, I think, might be really good for us, because then we wouldn't be prone to, turning people away who have book donations when the room is,
Right.
we know it's a bunch of crap. And also, we wouldn't have to use Kate's and Rebecca's trucks to cart books off, after
Kelly's truck too.
the book sale. Whoever has a truck. I used to have a truck. I used to be that guy, but that's not me anymore. I have a minivan now. But
I think that's a great idea.
I mean,
I know the
people, if
only-
it's locked, people will probably leave books outside. It's the only.
well, then I can go through them and
But
find out
if you're,
if something like-
up for checking them and picking them up, then yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because I'm
No,
not
the
sure if
hesitancy for it
the
is-
Friends would help you on that. I mean, I know I wouldn't, but and I don't know how Caroline feels about it, because Caroline and I are the only two
Mhm.
that do sorting right now.
Where exactly is the book drop at the high school?
It's in the skate park. It's in the middle school. So, like, if you pull up the hill going into the middle school and you turn right, there's a little skate park, and there's a book donation bin right there. It's like, Discover
Are you
Book-
sure it's still there? Because they moved it up to the elementary school, or whatever, the school up at the top of where you go past the post office, that route.
No, it was there the last time I went to go get rid of stuff, but admittedly, that was after the last Friends of the Library book sale that we got rid of stuff after. So that was last fall.
And what do they do with those books?
They try to either resell them or recycle them.
Do they get paid by the bin people? That's
No.
what I assumed, that the bin people came and said, oh, here's $50. Thank you.
It's mainly just a way to get rid of stuff that
It's fine. I think that's fine.
it's
What
like
if-
if it's on its way to the recyclers, then
Yeah.
it's a convenient way to get rid of it that way.
Exactly. I'm 100% in favor of that.
I didn't want anything that the public could drop stuff into, because then, I mean, you know, it's going to be a matter of time until.
Oh,
libraries
yeah,
burn.
you're gonna have baby diapers and everything else in there.
But as long as it's just like a box that's basically for library staff use.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
public couldn't come to it.
Yeah, the public
You
can't
could
come
just
to it.
dump whatever you wanted, because I mean.
Exactly.
So
That's,
all
yeah,
the
to do
textbooks
our
that
stuff.
come, or the encyclopedia.
exactly. That's it.
That's what I chuck, you know, so.
So it's like making it a little bit easier.
Okay, so as long as you don't advertise it, I think that's fine.
Right.
You know, you can accept the donation. And,
Yeah, basically, we would accept the donation. If it's a bunch of, you know, junk, then we can put it in there. We can
Yeah.
scan it. If Baker and
Okay.
Taylor will take it for money, then we can send it back to Baker and Taylor, or we can put it in the Friends room for Friends of the Library book sales. And then once they've gone through Friends of the Library book sales, we can chuck them in the other bin.
There you go.
mhm.
That's good.
And that's all I've got.
That's enough. Right. Other new business?
I didn't
Hearing
update.
none?
Oh,
Our
next
our
meeting
next-
is not June 27th.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, is this Groundhog's Day?
I think it's July 26th.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We allowed to vote to
Oh, we
adjourn?
can't vote.
Oh, yeah,
We
I
have
think
to
we
just-
can.
We
I
have to
think
walk,
we
just
can.
walk away. Just walk
We have
away.
to stay
Well, the
here
meeting
forever.
ended at 6:04, okay?
Mhm.